Okay, in the last video, you had a bunch of wonderful ideas about what you could offer as rewards for your Kickstarter or your crowdfunding campaign. And in this unit, we're going to talk specifically about the pros and cons of all of the different reward, product, experience ideas that you came up with. Let's start here. When you are looking at your rewards, you need to calculate the cost of them. This is very obvious, but make sure you're looking at the cost in a bunch of different ways. First of all, the cost to produce per item, like if it's going to cost me $1,000 to order 200 CDs, that is what this amount, but you also need to pay for the graphic design, the art, the production, and the shipping every way. So remember, when you order items, you're going to have them shipped to you or to a warehouse if you're doing things that way. So when you're putting together the cost of your item, don't forget any of those things. The cost and difficulty to ship is also very important. So if you have something that is flat and small, like an enamel pin or a sticker, that is pretty simple. Although a sticker, you might want to make sure that it doesn't bend, so you might have to spend a few extra bucks on cardboard or on a flat box to make sure that that is put together. If it is an awkward shape, it might need its own box. So if it is a mug or a poster, you might find yourself in a position of going, oh no, I have to buy 2 boxes to ship each of these rewards because I can't put a mug in a box with a CD, or I can't put this poster in this box with this book, which is going to create infinite complexity for you. So when you are brainstorming rewards, make sure you come up with things that fit together. Weights for their cost is also very important. People, when they're ordering, are gonna see, at least on Kickstarter, how much they're paying for shipping on top of what they are buying, and they don't want it to be like more than the original reward. So keep in mind how much you have to pay for shipping. Like a weight, the weight of like I was saying, a mug, like a really cool ceramic mug. That might be a cool higher level reward, but if you can do something light or cheap, remember that that is going to be easier for everybody. And again, difficult to bundle, things that are hard to put together, just make your life a little bit more difficult. So try to make it as simple as you can. Custom costs. So you have some ideas for some awesome custom rewards. You're going to take requests for cover songs. Anybody who pays you $300, you'll play whatever song they want. Anybody who pays $400, you're going to write them a story. You can do that. It's your skill set. Keep in mind that this is going to take you time to produce, okay? And people to produce, possibly, if you are a group. And this is time and people that are not going to be able to do other things. A lot of times my clients think, okay, well, that I can just have this time and I can do it for free and it's no big deal and it's a write-off in the budget. No, you remember that as soon as this Kickstarter is over, if this is not something that you have planned for, that means that this is time you can't spend making your art. This is time you can't spend getting another job if you need to keep paying your bills. And you may not quite be aware of how much work you're getting yourself signed up for. If you're like, I'll just draw you a picture with crayons, and then you end up having to do 100 of those, and they end up taking an hour each for some reason. These are all real examples, by the way, from my real life that I still have nightmares about. So please keep in mind not only the amount of time and the amount of work, but also just like the emotional labor, the exhaustion, and the difficulty. Like, are you going to need to take 2 days of a break every time you need to make one of these videos in between? Your time isn't free. So keep that in mind when you're creating custom rewards. And do keep in mind that you can set a limit on any reward that you offer. So if you are saying, well, I can make maybe 2 of these things, that's totally fine. Just make sure that when your setup isn't going to be much more expensive than it's worth. All right. Also keep in mind this, is there a minimum order? If you order keychains, do you have to order 1,000 of them? And therefore, if you have to order 1,000, are you going to have 900 of them left over? And therefore, is the cost not 50 cents each, but actually, I don't know, $5 each or $10 each because you actually didn't sell all of these? A minimum order can sometimes be good. Like if you are ordering things in bulk, that can be awesome. My band, for example, uses Kickstarter often to order all of the merch we need for the next year of touring. So we can have like extra shirts ordered, extra enamel pins, and extra CDs that we don't have to be restocking on merch all the time. However, we do have a house full of CDs that we're never going to sell. So keep in mind that you want to make sure your minimum order is not going to cause you pain in the future. And that minimum order is actually making your costs seem accurate. All right. So the margin, I think most of you probably know how to calculate a margin, but this is a really brief intro. What does it cost what does your product cost compared to what you'll charge for it? If, for example, you have a $10 product that costs $2 to buy, this is like, for example, an enamel pin. If it costs $2 to print an enamel pin and you're selling it for $10, then the margin on that is going to be 80% because $10 minus 2 is $8. $8 divided by 10 is 0.8 times 100, 80% margin. You can Google profit margin formula if that didn't make sense. My band tries to keep rewards at an average of an 80% profit margin on a crowdfunding campaign. Sometimes it's like 70%, sometimes it's 100% for digital rewards. So keep that in mind. You really want to make sure that you are making as much money as possible because remember, this money is supposed to be going to that art you're producing. And that brings us to this. How much should you charge for your stuff? How do you determine that profit margin? First thing that I usually do is look at other crowdfunding projects, successful ones, and see how much they've charged. So look at people with a similar audience size. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. Like, for example, a very, very famous musician can charge more for a custom song or a custom cover than I can, or keep that in mind when you're pricing out stuff. And then also look at not just how much they charge, but also if people actually backed the reward when they paid, when they charged for it, and did people buy a lot of them? Then maybe you should charge a little bit more than they did. Okay, that's easy. The other thing to keep in mind when you're pricing yourself out is that this is not a store. So this is a fundraiser. Like if you think about like an NPR pledge drive, they charge like $50, $80 for a tote bag. This is something you could buy for like $10 if you were being thrifty. So keep in mind that you should be charging more. You're going to have to pay taxes and fees. And of course, you're going to have to create art. So people understand that when they're coming to a crowdfunding page, or at least they should, when they're coming to a crowdfunding page for art. And when you write your page, I will help you make sure that they do. So make sure that you're charging enough. So when you go back to that list that you made in the last unit, narrow your reward ideas with these questions. All of the ones that we just went over, and also this. So does the item tie back into your project mission statement or theme, or do you just think it would be cool to have a keychain? Sometimes people's reward lists look like, I just wanted to make everything in the cool products catalog, which is fine, but it's not a good way to make money because you're going to be spending so much on everything in the cool products catalog. Does each reward serve a different purpose? So this is really important as well, especially as we go into the next unit, which is going to be fitting into reward levels and packages. So each reward is going to need to serve a different purpose when we are adding them to levels, which means that each reward should kind of cost a different amount of money. If everything is kind of vertically or horizontal, which is to say you have like a sticker and a keychain, which are both like $5 items, or you have like a t-shirt and a tote bag, which is like kind of the same price. You want to have every item be an upsell from the last. So if everything kind of costs the same, it's going to be really hard to say like, but if you are interested in getting even more, you should try this. It just doesn't work as well if everything is at the same level. Everything should serve a different purpose. So take all of your rewards that you came up with, or all your products in the last unit, and narrow them down to something like 4 to 10 ideas, because in the next video we're going to form all of these fun products into reward levels.